All right, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. There's a lot of other videos that kind of go over this problem. I'll link them down below. I just wanted to show you what worked for me and maybe some things that were missing from their videos. So I was getting a check engine light. It was an Evap small leak, and I kind of just put up with it for a couple weeks. And then I started getting the gas cap was missing light, or it was left open. So it wasn't the gas cap, and I started doing some research, and a lot of people were saying, hey, check this Evap line that goes here on your gas tank. And this is a 2011 JK 3.8 liter. I think the gas tanks are all the same, and I think the problem exists on all the JKs. But anyway, the line that went here, which is up there, we'll show it to you later. I checked all these hard lines. I was looking for cracks, but everything I was seeing online was talking about this nipple right here. And I checked it, and I touched the line, and it just broke right off. It cracks right here. So I'm going to show you what I did to fix it, and it's talked about in other videos, but I'll just give you some tips on what I did that worked, and maybe some stuff they left out. So here's the nipple, and it normally doesn't have this metal piece in it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that to kind of sleeve the inside diameter of this nipple. There's going to be a 1/2 inch of this sleeve on this end, and then 1/2 inch going in here. I'm going to press that in there, and I'm going to glue it up and JB weld all around it to support it. And I don't know if you can see in there, but it still allows air to pass through. Yep, and it should fix my problem here. So let me go over some of the things that made my life easier. So what I did was I went to Lowe's and I was looking for a few different things I could use. I ended up finding this Hillman 5/32 of an inch, 1.25" tension pin. And that's what this is right here. People were calling them roll pins. Some people use like copper tubing, and I actually did pick up some brass copper tubing, just a straight length of it, to see if that might work before I found these. And they're cheap, 87 cents. Now I got two different sizes. I got the 1.25" and then I got the 1-inch ones. Based on how this tube is, if you put the 1.25", you're going to end up stopping there, and you're going to have a whole lot left on the gas tank side, and it's going to be too long. So I went with the inch-long ones. And what I did was, you got to be really careful with this plastic nipple. It's fragile, and if you break it, you're screwed. So very gently, I put it in my vise, and I supported it on that ring right there, but just very, very gently. It's hard to do things with my hand here. So very gently. You can see it's still loose enough in there that it has some wiggle room, but it's tight enough that this isn't going to rotate in the vise. And then I went to the old Harbor Freight and got this drill bit set, and they're numbered drill bits. They're not, fractional dimensions. They're just size 1 through 60. I felt like there was more. The sizes from each size to each size was a smaller jump in sizes. So what I was able to do was I would ream out from the side that the line goes on, which is over here on the left. I'd ream out this way and come out this side. And I think I started with a number 16 drill bit. And actually I measured the inside diameter of this and kind of knew how big of a drill bit I ended up needing to get. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to step it up. This plastic I don't think is very strong, and I just didn't want to go in there with the size I needed right away. I just wanted to take a very small amount of material off at each time to prevent any damage. So I started with the number 16, and then I just kept going up through the sizes, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. All the while I was checking the fit of this each time, seeing how tight of a fit it was. And I finally finished on a number 10 drill bit, and that roll pin, or they call it a tension pin, is in there tight, very, very tight. I had a hard time just trying to take it out. I was going to take it out before I filmed this and kind of show you the steps, but it's so damn tight. So the plan now is a couple things. So when I was drilling, when you are stepping up size by size by size, I tried to go slow at first, and I felt like by going slow with the drill bit speed, it wanted to catch the plastic, and then also it wanted to rotate in here in my vise. So then I figured out if you drill faster, it doesn't catch, and I didn't have any problems. I would definitely recommend going faster with the drill speed. Now then I came over here, and like a dummy, I did not step it up. I should have. I'm impatient and I was in a rush, but I just went right to the size number 10 that I used to ream this and get the sleeve in there, and it did catch, and I was afraid that I might break that. So I would definitely recommend stepping it up on this one too, and again, going fast, but you don't want to go too far either. It looks like there's nothing behind there, but I don't really know if this goes right down to the gas tank and you're going to be throwing plastic chips in there. Just take your time and go slow, and then pretty much I'm going to press this in there and line up exactly where the crack was originally. I'm going to glue that sucker in, and then I got some JB Weld, like it's like a stick, and I'm going to build up like a nice thick support all around this to keep it from breaking again. But I'm pretty sure this thing is going to be stronger than original. And then we also need to address the other problem that caused this to begin with, which is, alright, so we're back under the Jeep, and there's the filler tube that goes into the gas tank, and it's this line here, this hard plastic Evap line, that's going to that nipple that that we're going to be repairing. And the way they got this sucker zip tied, it's just so rigid, and when it was on there, I mean, it was torquing on that nip pretty good. So I'm going to probably cut these zip ties off that hold it on, and reroute this to give it a little bit of more slack, so I don't end up breaking that again. But I think it's going to be so strong that it really isn't going to be a problem. Also, a little tip I learned too, I just went in there and I was disconnecting all the lines when I dropped the tank, and I did this by myself on my back on a creeper with two 4-jacks. You got 2 lines right here on the front end of the tank. Those got to come off. But then I just started disconnecting everything while it was still kind of loose up in the Jeep. Disconnected this, don't need to, that can stay on. Same thing here, doesn't have to come off. You do take the electrical connector off. I disconnected this line right here, didn't need to. Didn't have to disconnect that because it was broken. Disconnected this line, didn't need to. And you can disconnect this one from the tank side, and this goes to the evap canister. I thought it was easier for me to just disconnect that side than try and screw around with this thing while it was up in the Jeep. That was a lot more accessible. I think this is what I'm going to use to glue the 2 ends of the broken nipple together. And then once that's dry, we're going to use this steel stick stuff. I've seen it in the parts store and I've never used it. but they have like a dried chunk of it, like right there at the register. Feels pretty strong, and when it's dry. And I saw a picture, and if I can find the picture that gave me the idea for this, I'll link it down below as well. But I had saw someone using something similar to this to repair another broken nipple on a gas tank. I don't know if it was a Jeep or a Dodge or whatever it was, but we're just going to try and build up some material so it's not all just on that nipple, but it's got some structure, you know, around where we glue it. Okay, so I lied to you guys. Got this thing mounted on my head now, so I should be able to show it better. Originally I said that I was going to go with the 1-inch pin, which would have left about a 1/2 inch on this side and then a 1/2 inch on the other side going in. I decided to go with the 1.25 inch 5/32 what do they call it, split sleeve or something, but anyway, I think the longer one will just give me better support inside the tank. You know, I get maybe 1/4 inch more into the tank, so that's the only change I made. A couple other things. I know this is probably not the best quality YouTube video, but my first time doing one of these, and I figured just wanted to pass on some stuff I learned to fellow Jeep dudes, save them some time from having to spend 2 hours at the hardware stores looking for what to use. Also, so the Jeep, been a pretty solid Jeep. Just came on the check engine light in the last, I don't know, 500 miles or so. You can see I got the fuel low. There's no fucking fuel. But yeah, I just had this break in the last 500 miles, so it made it, you know, 142,000 miles before this broke. But yep. All right, so gonna clean this up, clean up the other side with some alcohol or something, and then get this glued up, and we'll check back in. So I'm gonna use some brake clean. Don't Tell California or Gavin Newsom. So I just used some of this JB Weld, quick setting steel and force epoxy. Just a little bit on here, and then we'll bring some more back over once I get it mated up. Probably don't want to get it down inside there, and this thing is split, so it is possible that some gets in there. But if it does get in there and block it up, this drill bit fits perfect down inside there, and that'll clean it right out. I'm going back now. Get a little bit of squeeze out. And I'll just kind of run it around that crack. Now I would say you probably don't want a whole lot in the first 1/4 inch here, because that is where that line is going to connect to. Sorry about the cam work if it's not good. I've got this thing strapped on my head right now. Cool. Let that dry up. You can put a little bit more on. and that should be thoroughly sealed. And I can see straight through. Let me see if I can straight through. But you can see through, and that should be enough to let air pass through and this be sealed up. Alright, so let's see here. So we got this back on and all glued up. Now I'm going to take this stuff, JB Weld steel stick. Oh, let me, JB Weld steel stick. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. So it comes in this tube, and it looks like this. It looks like Play-Doh, and it looks like it's got like the accelerator on the inside and the base on the outside. Feels like Play-Doh. You cut off a small amount of it, knead it up in your hands, and I just cut this piece out and mixed it up a while, like maybe about 10 minutes ago. Rock hard. It still probably has more drying to do. I can leave a small dent in it, but this thing is going to be rock hard, and I'm going to build up some material all around that nipple just to give it some structure and support. Wear gloves when you use this. I did it the first time. Probably not going to kill me, but probably not the best thing to be getting on your skin either. Alright, I'll be back when we get this on there. So you just want to mix it up in your hands. You got to get this black and the gray all mixed up. So ball it up. It feels like Play-Doh almost. It's very easy to work with your fingers, but you got to get all this stuff mixed up if you want it to cure and be rock hard. Alright, so the plan here is just to kind of get this around there. That'll seal it up even more, but it will also should harden up on there and just give it some structure. I don't really know, actually. I mean, it might be doing nothing, but I saw it in another video and I thought, you know, that's not a bad idea. This stuff hardens pretty, gets rock hard. So I think it'll be a good addition. I don't think it's going to hurt. Might help, won't hurt. And like I said, you don't want it, you probably want to give it a good, you know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch on that side of the little ring, because you're going to have to snap on that tube on there. So while I had the gas tank out and this sealant was curing, you can see how I kind of molded it on there. Rock hard. That thing ain't going nowhere. But while I had it out, I just gave it a little wash. I had a lot of little rocks and pebbles and sand and all these little crevices, and that'll make when I put it back in there a little bit easier and get some of the dust and shit off of it. Same thing with the skid plate, the transfer case skid that you had to take out to pull this all out, but definitely doable. One man. Alright, so just want to give a quick little update. I fixed the nipple, reinstalled the gas tank. I would highly recommend having 2 people to install the gas tank. I feel like I could have done it alone, but it would have been very frustrating. It was nice to have a person operating the jacks while I was underneath it and getting everything lined up and getting the bolts in. Would be possible alone, but it would be tough. That being said, hooked everything back up, pulled out my code scanner, I reset the check engine light, and the check engine light came right back. And I resetted it, came right back. And I'm like, what the hell? Did it not fix the problem? Is there another leak somewhere? But I read online and someone else had the similar problem, and they just disconnected their negative battery terminal for 15 minutes. I gave it a try, and sure enough, it worked. So I don't have the issue. Just put a full tank of gas in it and took it out for a drive. Probably put about 50 miles on it. No issues. The light's gone away. If it comes back, I'll post an update, but I'm not planning on it coming back. Yeah, and I'll put some links down in the description below for the part number and the link to the website for the tension pins or whatever from Lowe's. You can find them in the hardware section with all the drawers where you pull out and find the nuts and bolts and stuff. I don't remember which bin it was called, but they're there, and it was easy enough on the Lowe's app to just, it said like aisle 16, bay 11, and then just started opening drawers till I found it. So go with the 5/32, 1.25" one. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hopefully this helps someone. I know I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out, so hopefully it helps someone else out, saves them some time. But yeah, any questions, I'll respond to comments. Thanks. Bye.